Hi everyone, welcome back to the Pearl Atelier. Today I'm going to be showcasing some of my Cameo jewelry collection. So I'm starting off with this cuff which is from Italy. Most of the Cameo jewelry are from Italy. They have been traditionally using conch shells to make cameos for hundreds of years, and I had no idea they were made up of conch shells. So conch shells in the past were even used as a bugle call, a call for attention, and I've always seen conch shells in my hometown. They sell it to tourists as well, but I had no idea that they were used to make cameos. I've always been fascinated by cameos because whenever I look at period dramas, I see the Victorian lady wearing a cameo and she looks so elegant and so beautiful wearing it. So I've always been very attracted to cameos. In the past, I have had some cameos, but they are made up of resin, and I was very fascinated with them because in the late 1980s to the 1990s, there was a resurgence of its popularity because Molly Ringwald wore them in the movie Pretty in Pink. So she wore it in a very modern way, and that was why there was a popularity and resurgence of it during that period. So I do have a few cameos that I have in the past, like this beaded one, which is absolutely beautiful. It's from Korea, and that one is made up of enamel. And then I've also got another one which I also featured in one of my previous videos, which is made up of resin, and it's pink in color, and it features a cherub. So this one is very Art Nouveau. It is quite pricey, but I think it's worth it because it's made up of genuine conch shell, and the way that you can tell if it's conch shell is if you turn it on the underside, you can see that it's concave, and if you put it up against the light, it is transparent. So this one is in an Art Nouveau style. I absolutely love it. I think it's a work of art. It features this lady with very flowy hair and with roses absolutely in that Art Nouveau kind of a period piece, and with roses as well as the gold filigree framing her. I also realized that when I was doing this video, every day when you're putting on your jewelry, like your earrings or your necklace, you can't really look at them yourself, whereas if you're wearing a cuff, you can sort of glance at it throughout the day, and jewelry always makes me happy. It lifts up the spirit. I think that's one of the greatest joys in my life when I'm dressing up and deciding what jewelry would match with my outfit. I've always seen my mom, she never steps out of the house without some kind of jewelry, so it's always a pleasure for me to look at her putting herself together and perfectly groomed before she steps out of the house. So that is one of the most wonderful memories that I have of her. And the second one that I'm featuring is this one. So this one is definitely a vintage piece. It features a lady, and I was looking at a few different pieces because we don't have this in my hometown. I've had to order them from Etsy, and I realized that a lot of the ladies that are featured in the cameos, they are not wearing any jewelry. They are bare-necked, and this one I purposely got her because she's wearing a string of pearls, and if you have been following my channel, you know that I love pearls. And she's also wearing a hair comb. You can see the details of the pearls and the hair comb are so very finely made and very finely detailed. She comes also in a very thick piece of conch shell. I realized that the older pieces, they are much more generous with the conch shell. Is much more of a thicker piece, whereas the modern ones tend to be much more thinner. I also got this new blue doll, and she was the first antique doll that I have, and I ordered her specifically also because she was wearing this cameo brooch, which I think is just lovely on a doll so small. And she also came with this clutch bag. I added the lace and the ribbon, and it actually can open and shut. She has such lovely tiny hands that are made up of porcelain. Look at the fingernail details, and I love her lace dress and her boots. such a beautiful, lovely doll. She's got such a sweet expression. I love her hairstyle, especially with all the ringlets. It's so elaborate and so beautifully done. Look at the ringlets. It reminds me of that character from Little House on the Prairie, Nellie. And as you can see, she is a blue 8-inch doll. Just absolutely delightful. So for example, for the next brooch that I'm showcasing, it features an angel. You can definitely see the huge wings behind it. And for that one, the conch shell is definitely much more thinner. But because the seller was selling all the other things in their shop are also vintage jewelry and estate jewelry, so I will not think that he will cheat you. And when I turn it on the underside, it's also concave, so it's definitely conch shell, but it's made up of a much more thinner material. And the last one that I'm featuring is this Wedgwood one. It's definitely not made up of conch shell, but because we're on the subject of cameos, I thought I would include that in as well. So it is in a classic Wedgwood blue. It does come in other colors as well, like in a mossy green or a peachy beige kind of a color, but I decided on this one because it is the classic blue associated with Wedgwood. I often wonder, did Tiffany, because the color is so similar, and it features Cupid, the god of love. As I understand it, a lot of these cameos are featuring Greek mythological figures. So they are based on all those interesting stories like Artemis or Zeus or Cupid or Psyche or Diana, the goddess of hunting and all that sort of thing. So it's very interesting as well. Also, before I forget, I also got this one because I thought it would match together with my cuff really perfectly, because it's got the gold swirly design around it to match with the gold filigree on my cuff. It comes in a very soft peachy color, so I can wear this on my own. For this video, I'm wearing sort of like a Grecian style dress. It was a little bit big on me, so I got the tailor to alter it down. This is a vintage. It's got some beautiful floral designs on it, and I thought it would be perfect to wear together with the cameo. I wouldn't necessarily wear the cameo plus the cuff together. I think it's too over the top, but for the purpose of this video, I was just going to wear it to showcase it. I also got this lovely jewelry container. So it's made up of incolay. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I purposely ordered this as well because I think it matches together with all the cameo jewelry. It features a pair of cherub, and the boy cherub is giving the girl cherub a flower. So I think it's really beautifully done with the wheatgrass details as well as the roses on it. It's footed, and it is in a very lovely sort of a purple color. And I really love this because the relief on it is really high, because I looked at a few of the incolays and the relief is very low, and the depth is quite deep so that you can contain quite a few things inside it. I thought that it would be the perfect jewelry container for my cameo collection. So I'm really glad to be able to add this to my jewelry box collection. If you have been following my channel, you know that I love collecting jewelry boxes, so this is a very precious addition.